Michael, we are live now.
Thank you.
Okay. And please make me a co-host.
I will.
Michael, do you want me to disable the waiting room?
Yes, definitely.
Sure.
Yeah. Hello, hello, hello. Yes, welcome. Okay.
Okay, let's see where we
Two
are.
of the favorites
Now
there.
review. Okay. Hello. Good morning to you.
Hello.
Good evening to you and Sherry and Carolyn. Yeah. And aren't we waiting for one more person? Laura? Yeah. Let's see if she arrived. Yeah.
I finally settled down by I get home by 9 o'clock or whatever. I feel like, okay, day's over, and then I remember you. Oh, I don't day's not over yet. TV or you, I rather listen to. At least with you, I learned something,
That's great. Thank you.
I don't know how much it's helping, but
Oh,
we're trying.
Hey, we'll move forward together.
Where do you live again, Phyllis?
There's Carolyn. What?
Where do you live again?
Long Island, New York.
Okay, all right. I'm on the other end in California.
Oh, you're really across the world, right? Well, not well.
But
Mike-
no, not
Michael's
as
got
bad
you
as
beat, but-
Michael.
He's got you beat.
Yep.
Then there's another girl that comes on. She's from Florida.
Oh, and I think what was the blonde with the short hair? I think she's from California too.
Okay.
Laura, is it Laura?
It's probably Laura, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Sherry, where are you from, Sherry?
Williamsburg, Virginia.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I love your background. Is that real or is that one of the?
It's one of those things.
Okay.
I
won't
actually have
say
one in
anything
front of
more.
the house.
Pardon?
I have a couple of these in front of the house. They told me they were bushes. They're trees. It's a hydrangea tree.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Look at my background.
Oh, nice.
What were you hitting?
Isn't that nice?
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's so easy. It's so easy. Once you know how to change the background when you click on it, you know where
Yeah.
to click. It's so easy.
Does it make your bed for you?
Yeah.
That's pretty nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We mustn't assume that Laura is going to come. And we've got Carmen. Okay. Carmen. Hello, Carmen.
There's a picture.
Hi,
Ah, there we are. She's alive. How are you, Carmen?
I'm fine, and you?
I'm fine, thank you. So, what brings you to our purpose class?
Oh, what brings me? I have a project that I would like to see through.
Okay, that's great. And when you're ready, you're welcome to share it with the rest of the class. Phyllis and Sherry and Carolyn have been here since class 1, and we're now on to class 4, is it? Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, and we do it every week, Carmen. So if you want to come in as well next week, Phyllis was here last week as well. And yeah, so please feel free to, and also feel free to just interact. When you feel ready to share maybe what your idea is, then you can do that. And
We're a really quiet group here.
We're all tired.
yeah. Come on, Carolyn, where's your camera now? You can't be in bed again.
No. But I have clutter up the wazoo behind me. And so until that may be my project. And then in a couple years, I'll take a class and I'll show my picture.
It's so easy. You just click next to the where it says stop video. There's a little tiny arrow. And you just click on that. And then you change your background. Believe me, it's simple.
Oh, okay, because there's a class on virtual backgrounds.
That's how I got so smart. I took the class.
Okay.
I wasn't born brilliant, you know? I took the class.
Well, I was born brilliant, but I had a relapse. It's called menopause.
I do a class on Zoom tips and tricks. So if you want to join that, I also talk about the background and how to do the background, especially when you have trouble with the background.
Okay, well, then that means I have to do something with my hair. Okay.
I like my room. It looks so nice.
Yes, it's wonderful.
Isn't that beautiful?
It's like a hotel.
Yeah, well, it probably is, right? I got it off of some I forgot Pexels or something. They gave me on one of the classes. They gave me this site, and if you can just steal stuff off of it, legitimately. And that's where I got. That's how I got my nice
class.
Bedroom.
He had a gorgeous background of somewhere in Italy.
Yeah, right.
But then people wonder where the heck you are.
I like Carmen's lighting. That lighting looks really nice, Carmen. That works, right? Yeah.
Just a lamp.
It's beautiful. It's enough light, right? Very impressive. Poor Michael, he's waiting for us to shut up, right? Okay.
Yeah. Right. Let's make a start. You've got no idea. Just at this moment, I'm just going to digress. I'm looking out of my window to my garden, and for the first time in 3 years, I've got a rainbow parrot, a wild rainbow parrot, sitting in my garden eating some food. And I just prior to the class, I can't take my eyes off it. It's amazing. I've taken some photos. So at some point in the future, I will put them up probably on Instagram. And you guys can watch it there.
Yeah, I'd love to see it. Does he come back? This is not the first time he's there. Is that what you're saying?
It's the first time, but it's also the first time I've put up parrot food. In wintertime, I tend to put up for the birds that come, and I have a whole variety of birds, but I've never put food up for parrots, and they're wild in Australia, and you get black ones, green ones, and these rainbow ones, and they're absolutely magnificent. But,
that could be your background.
That's a good idea, except guess what, I wouldn't love me.
Aww.
All right, so just bringing Carmen into the picture there. We've gone through like class 1 where we looked at developing a purpose and an idea. And then the next class we looked on how to start that process and take it forward. And we spoke about, talking about our idea and purpose sort of for 10 minutes to the world. And then we brought it down to one sentence. And then yesterday we chose some tools to use and how to communicate through using those tools, and to slowly start gathering followers in order for our purpose to get out there with the world. And the purpose, doesn't have to be a business by any means. It's just something that you want to do now in the senior years that you want to move forward with, because we seniors have a great responsibility to show the planet, how to move forward into a new type of world where, sufficiency is enough and we don't need to be greedy. We've done all the career things, and now we're moving forward with our ideas. And so for Carmen's sake, I'll introduce myself. The rest of you know who I am. You can see my name is Michael Plumstead, and I live in Perth, Western Australia. And it's just gone 9 a.m. in the morning. And we're on the 20th now, okay? So, yeah, we're a day ahead. My background, Carmen, is really just about business. I've loved business, always done business, training and mentoring particularly, and really fantastic life. I've had a very fortunate life in that I've failed many times and I've been bankrupt as well. But
who's that?
Yeah.
Who's that? Who's that talking?
I don't know. It looks like Lee. Okay, Lee.
Hello. Hi. I just
Lee?
I can't really be on, I'm having a nosebleed right now, so I can't really be on camera right now.
Who's that?
Yeah. You're a guy.
All right, there we are. Okay, so I'm not sure. Lee, welcome as well. Then looks like you joined. You're going to join?
I'm joining. I'm just gonna listen. I can't put the camera on right now because something happened.
No, that's fine. Okay. All right. So that's who I am, and as I told you, I love my garden. I've got a tiny little garden and quite an ecosystem, and I enjoy it. And I've got all sorts of things. I've got a wild bandicoot that comes to eat here from the forest. And now I've got these rainbow parrots for the first time coming in at this very moment. And it's that's what I love. I love nature. I love growing microgreens. I do a class on microgreens as well. And so that's me, okay? So today we're going to be talking about maintaining momentum. Okay, as I said, already introduced all the things we've done in the previous 3 classes, but there comes a time where, and possibly it's right at the beginning as well, where you just haven't got the get up and go in order to get up and go. And so you're looking for an excuse to not get up and go. But then you think of your purpose and you think of why you have that purpose that we did in the first class. And that gives you the momentum again. So, we're going to cover on these things. I'm then going to share with you, as I've promised, and I've shown you some pictures in the previous classes of some influencers who are older than all of you, okay, and me. And the success stories they've had in taking their purpose forward, their idea forward. So that becomes, I find interesting because, we look at them, but they were just where we are, perhaps now. And anyway, we're going to be looking at it. And they all, particularly there are 4 people that I bring into this class. And they all started with the way we started, to a large extent, and with no idea, okay, and then started doing stuff on Instagram, and then slowly they started just building. But we'll talk about them, and so I've included their thoughts and their ideas. So when they talk about or when I talk in a class, a lot of it comes from their recommendations and not from some business research or whatever, or and also a lot from my own background as well. All right, so to start the ball rolling, here you see Professor Lynn Slater, okay? So who is she? She's currently pretty young. She's in her mid-60s, and she started by mistake, okay, we'll talk a little bit about it, by mistake, a fashion blog, okay. She was always in the professor talking to students at university, and then she retired. And what she loved, what her passion was fashion, and fashion for older people. So she became, she's quite introverted. She's not an extroverted person. And so she just started thinking, well, I want to promote for myself, and for my purpose, fashion for people my age. And she knew nothing about fashion. She'd been a professor, nothing. She just... And so she started blogging about it, and it wasn't. She says in a lot of the articles that she's written, it has nothing. It had never had anything to do with money. Okay, and that pleases me. Okay, because as we move forward, nothing we do now, money mustn't be the primary motivation. Okay, it mustn't even be the purpose by any means. That I've said that in every class. And she was saying it. And she also said in her articles that it's just me being me when I post, okay? And so she learned how to post by experimenting, and it really worked for her. And she decided that she enjoys doing it. She started getting a following. And she had no business plans or anything, because it wasn't going to be a business. She just wanted to put her passion out there and find other people, And so she eventually, it took her about, I think it was 3 years to get about 100,000 followers. So there was no big rush or anything, but it happened. And one day she woke up to the fact that, she's got all these followers. So anyway, we'll come back to her and talk about some of the steps that she used, and some of the other influences that we'll talk about later in the program, in the class. Okay. And don't forget what I said from slide 1. Okay, I'd just like to bring it back. The purpose of life is a life with purpose. Okay. So the major aspect of having a purpose is to remember why. Why have you got that purpose? Okay. And that why is your reason for living. Okay. So the why and the purpose come together as we started in class 1. Lynn Slater keeps talking about why she started, and she keeps on emphasizing it was never about the money. She just wanted to talk about fashion. Okay, that was all. And that was her purpose. She'd retired, and that's what she wanted to do. She never took a business class. I guess she didn't know about Get Set Up at that stage either. Maybe she would have taken some sort of class or other, but anyway, and that's where her business name came from. It's called, as I've told you already, Accidental Icon. You can Google it, okay? Accidental Icon, or you can go onto Instagram and search for it, and you can see some of her blogs and some of the things that she's been doing. It's just, I just love these success stories, because particularly people our age, and some of them are a lot older than us that we're going to talk about today. So the first thing to keep momentum going, is always to have your why somewhere in your environment, and have your purpose and idea somewhere in your working environment, somewhere where you see it, okay? And that reminds you of why you wanted to work with that idea. And what gave it meaning, Why? Okay, because we can easily be sidetracked. Okay, especially if you're anything like me. I am so easily sidetracked. My wife used to say, "It won't take me into a shop because I'm confronted with a salesman. I'm so gullible. I'll just buy what they're trying to sell." And so, and I forget why I went into the shop. So don't land up in that situation. We need to keep that there. And you then, as we've done now in the last two classes, was we look at the how, and we're now using that. Now, the how can demotivate you. Okay, you try something, you're going to do it this way, and because remember, the how doesn't stay in place. You can change the how you do things and how you communicate and market, and that can change. And you need to experiment anyway and find what works for you. But your purpose and idea and the why doesn't change. That's your foundation. That's your motivation. So what we're going to, we looked yesterday at, at platforms, at different platforms, and now maybe you chose a platform that doesn't work for you. Now you're feeling like a bit demotivated. The momentum is slowing down. Maybe the platform that you chose is just not appropriate for you. So, give that some thought when you're unsure, okay, when you're not moving forward. But remember, you did choose a platform and you chose it consciously. Maybe you said to yourself, well, I'm going to try this for 6 months and see how the platform works. Otherwise, I'm going to move somewhere else. And so, the first social media approach, which is part of the how, okay, might not have worked for you, or might not be working right now, or might even be making you nervous to get started. But you need to start in order to prove to yourself what is going to work. Okay, and remember, always go back to our previous class recordings that you've got and your notes that you have made from those recordings. Okay, and rethink some of the basics, not the purpose and the why, the how. Rethink the how. The how can always change. That's the big message that I want to get to you when you start landing in a bit of a rut. Okay? So, your purpose will be strong. I'm no doubt about it. If you did that well and you have a really motivating purpose, you will never, but you must be prepared to evaluate the how. How you can always change. I'm saying that over and over again because I want to be clear what is changeable, what is flexible, and it's the how, the channels you use, the platforms you use, the strategy you use that we were speaking about, okay, and how you're using it, like subscriptions or, as a consultant or whatever, okay, we spoke about yesterday. So you may not be consistent in what you're doing, and that could also be a problem. And we will look at that as well in a moment. But I want to just stop there because I've been ranting and raving about certain aspects. And I want to find out if there are, if any of you are in that sort of stage of either slowing down or not being sure or not being able to get started. Anything covering what we've said, any ideas, thoughts, okay?
I tried to do what I was going to do, and it seems like I'm at a problem right now. I sent out an email to the 3 people that had taken part in what I called my trial, where they have my paintings, and asking for, whether they want to make an exchange at this point, keep it longer for now, and did they have any comments? Well, it was only three trials. So one, I know I'm not getting it back. It's my daughter-in-law, and she's keeping it, But the other 2, I didn't get any response from. And they're not strangers. They were both referred to, to me. and I'm a little frustrated because they're not answering my email. But, you know, now some people don't even look at email. I don't know how to, you know, contact people anymore.
Okay. I would recommend that you sort of, because they knew and they've just received your pictures, that give them time, okay, and rather concentrate on getting more of a following, more people that maybe eventually become interested. All right. And if you're going to send things to people that have those two people, for example, then, you know, just maybe give an informative type, newsy type, happy and so on, rather than, you know, they still getting used to the idea probably, and you know, give them time, give them a few months, because I think you usually leave it out there for about 6 months. I think you said previously.
Yeah. No, I mean, this is the first time I've ever tried this, you know.
Yeah, I know.
I've tried it before, but I'm a little frustrated that I didn't get a response, you know.
Yeah. Okay, don't let that demotivate you. Get back to looking at your purpose. Get back to looking at why you started this, okay? And, you know, they're just the first two of the next 2,000 that perhaps take another year or 3. And don't let them put you off because they're not responding to you, okay?
Yeah, but it is putting me off, you know.
Yeah, I can understand that. We're all human. We all got emotions and we all have expectations. But we've got to, that's exactly what this class is about. We've got to find ways to, and hopefully by the end of this class, you'll have found some ways that will keep you on track and keep you going, at least for a lengthy period of time, you know, not just a few days or weeks. And another way of communicating, Phyllis, is not necessarily by email. Okay, you know, if I don't know how you found them and how they came across, but if you found them on social media,
no, people knew them. Yeah, recommendation.
Okay, all right. You know, try and establish if you can, you know, which social media they're on, because they might be on social media every single day, but you know, email is, you know, is not part of their culture.
That's, yeah, I'm finding not, yeah, and some people not even on Facebook. You know, things that, you know, I'm used to using email, check my email, check my Facebook, but I'm finding some people are moved on to other ways. So I think this thing about communication, you know, some use that as cell phones, baffling, the learning experience.
Yeah.
You know, how do I reach, you know, a client, you know?
Okay, again, it's trial and error. Remember some of those slides going back there? There was the telephone that we spoke about, the one-to-one, okay? And, you know, that might be a strategy that is appropriate in your case here now, is to pick up the phone and phone them and make sure you're in a good mood, okay?
You're right. You know, yes, I'd say, what the hell's the matter with you? Why didn't you answer the damn email?
So yes, try the one-on-one approach and leave the email.
Have to call.
Yeah, and you know, you might well, especially with a phone call, you can easily find out which social media that they prefer, you know, just through conversation, not necessarily with a direct question, and that way, you know, you keep some notes next to you with information you found out about those two people, and then make sure you're working in their world. Remember we spoke about customer care, so now you need to maybe change from an email to something that is more caring for them. Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, it's opening a lot of, it's good.
Okay. Try that, and then but try it in the next 24 hours, so you can tell me tomorrow's class how it went.
I'm going to probably call up and I'll use the phone next, you know, and I'll try to be, but I'll take your advice. I will try very hard to be in a good mood.
Okay. Any other comments? Carolyn, you got your hand up, yeah.
Yes, I was going to say, possibly to text them versus a physical call, which is sometimes a little bit less confrontive. And then maybe in the text say, hey, I'm going to call you tomorrow, and maybe share some exciting things that you're working on to continue with the project, so you kind of wrap them back into your agenda.
Okay, there we are. Thanks for that advice.
Thank
Okay,
you, Carol.
something to take into mind and into consideration. So yeah, any other comments at this stage? Sherry, you've been very quiet.
Yeah. I already had something going, but this has kind of motivated me to really apply time to it, because I had gotten discouraged. People were telling me that I was not charging enough and my time was more valuable and stuff, but that was the whole thing. I wanted to, I have to do something with this thing. I wanted to be lower priced for a reason, and I was just catching flack, and I just got kind of discouraged.
Yeah.
So, but it's it, you know, now I'm feeling really good about it, and I've got maybe 3 or 4 things together now, so that's a help.
Okay, that's great. Okay, that's great. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah. And it's human to be where we're talking about today in this class, and what Phyllis has said and what you've said, Sherry. So, you know, we are human, and we must also work within. Remember what we said in the previous class there about it must be you. Okay, you must plan according to you and work with you, rather than, you know, with what some business guru says this should be done. Okay, and certainly not what Michael Plumstead says. Ignore him. Just get on with being yourself. Okay. All right. Any other comments? Other we will continue. All right. So. Evaluate when you get into this thing, not so soon as Phyllis and Sherry are, but you know, if you're getting down the line there, evaluate the how. Once you've given the how a chance, then but at the same time you can be doing more than one how at the same time as well, if you feel that you're able to cope with it in the hours that you have decided on. So go back to your notes and look at what you have written. That's an important part of, you know, reminding yourself why you're doing what you're doing, okay, before you change your how, okay. Right, the next thing is to create a schedule to help you go back to the drawing board every now and again, and every time you feel a little stuck and that you're not progressing, or you're feeling a little bit demotivated, start a schedule, and we'll talk about that now for the slide. And a schedule is a list of planned activities that you're going to be doing, or things to be done, showing the times and the dates when they intend to happen or to be done. So it's your way of just, you know, I'm as you know, I'm not in for business planning and so on, because business plans are for bank managers when you want to borrow money and you never go back to them, and they don't really serve a value on the day-to-day progress on working forward. So remember that as you make yourself very broad goals, they must be simple, okay? They must be specific, attainable, and measurable, okay? Specific, is your intention clear and defined, okay? Remember our class 1, okay? We really went over that, and then you always prioritize your work based on your original intention and purpose, not on anything else, okay? Because it's not about the money, okay? It's about getting your purpose and idea out there. So if you're going to set goals, it must be based on those aspects, okay? And then it needs to be measurable as well. But you're measurable in your way, okay, in what suits you. So let's say you're going forward and you're busy, as we said, maybe posting every day on social media, something that adds value to your followers, okay, not to anybody else other than the people that are following you, and you get feedback from them and you give them more content. And so you decide, I'm going to post once a day. Okay, that's measurable. You can see whether you've done that or haven't done that. Okay, and maybe you don't want to do it once a day to start off. Maybe, whatever you decide, once a week. Okay, then do it once a week. It's measurable, and you can discipline yourself, and you know that you're working towards those specific priorities. Okay, achievable. Create a schedule of tasks to cover essential steps. Okay, you're not going to plan out your whole life, and we did touch on this as well in a previous class. So achievable, create a schedule of tasks to cover your personality. Remember, we spoke about that at length. It must be about you, okay, who you are, what you are capable with, not again what somebody else says, this is what you should do, and this is how many steps you should take, and these are the steps, okay? So you create a schedule of tasks to cover the essential steps to get to that very broad goal that you want to get to. Then also relevant, always have your grand purpose up in front of you, okay? Otherwise, you're going to go off at a tangent, okay? You know what you're doing and why you're doing it. So make sure you're sticking to being relevant to yourself, to your own authenticity, to your own honesty, okay? And get plenty of time give plenty of time for major daily tasks. As I told you before, about 2 hours working actually on the social media a day is about the average. That I'm not talking about working behind the scenes. I'm not talking about gathering, researching information to create blogs and so on that we've spoken about. I'm talking about just being on site, okay, on your Instagram, if it's that, or Facebook, whichever one you've chosen. And you're going to spend about 2 to 3 hours. Now you decide how long you're going to spend. And again, it's measurable, okay, because to attain that broad goal that you want, it is there, okay? Then when you're having your evening drink, okay, which will be a hot cup of coffee in winter here, and maybe it's something else for you there, Carmen. But whatever you do, you go and relax, get your drink, relax, and you evaluate, okay? You look at your day. Are you on track with your scheduled tasks? Remember, they're broad. You've got them in your head. You know that what they are. You don't have to go looking at notes because they're there. Okay, so you then sit and you review. Are you progressing? And if not, is it time now, because it's now maybe 6 months or a year down the line that you're now doing this review, and must I look at the how again, or how's my testing of another how doing? Okay, am I working according to what I set out as a measurable goal or measurable plan, very broadly? Okay, so how to keep yourself working? Okay, an issue. Not easy. And I always, for myself, always go back to the why. Okay, and if you don't, you're going to find yourself becoming demotivated, because the why is becoming something in the background, something there, because these problems of today, nobody's talking to me and I'm now getting frustrated. I forget the why. Okay, so it's important as you move forward remember I said to you the why, every time you have a tiny little success in something, maybe, you know, somebody has hired something that you're hiring out, or somebody has really complimented you, a whole lot of people have agreed on social media or something, that's a success. That time needs to be celebrated. You look for excuses to celebrate, okay, and feel good, okay. You know, for me, when I want to celebrate, I say to my wife, let's go out for a cappuccino and a donut, okay, and very Australian. And so, you know, we go out and we do that, okay, and we talk about the success and other things. So find an excuse to celebrate. That's a Michael Plumstead, I think, from my experience. It's really why it's a fun, not a why, it's a fun thing that you do, and you need to be having fun in times when you're feeling a bit demotivated, okay. So I've spoken also about creating that environment in which you sit in order to do your, let's call it work, or your purpose as your daily activity. Make sure that environment is a working environment that you love, okay. So put up, you know, some of Phyllis's pictures in your place. Tell her what you're looking for, and she will get that off to you, okay. And don't forget to answer her emails. And so really, you know, look at how you can make your working environment better, okay. And the purpose is certainly, and the why is certainly thinking. But, you know, for example, right next to me now, I love garden, I love flowers. So look right next to me. I don't know where I haven't got my own picture here, but there we are. I've got from my own garden a beautiful rose with a scent. I don't know if you can see it really properly. I shouldn't think.
Oh, look at it's pretty.
Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. And yeah, my wife cut it and gave it to me in a vase, and here it sits. And that, to me, I see the whole of nature. I see the whole of our environment sort of in that rose, and it's beautiful. So you find the things that are going to motivate you in your environment. You must have them around you, things that you love. I love flowers. I mean, when I used to be a CEO of quite a large company, you know, the staff used to buy me flowers. I mean, because they knew I loved flowers. As ridiculous as that sounds, you know, everybody knew I enjoyed flowers. And yeah. And so it used to be fun. So, you know, bring things around you, give some thought to them, okay? Be yourself, be in your own working environment that you really love. Excuse me, I'm just going to have a sip of water. So now watch short motivating videos that appeal to you, okay? And there are all sorts of people out there, and a lot of them very well known. And you can listen to a video. I actually, as part of my keeping up, I create my own, not for you to listen to, but for me to create. Okay, and it's just 5 minutes. I limit myself to 5 minutes, and I go to my garden and I either talk to the bandicoot, or I talk to a flower, or I just talk to a subject that is on my mind at the moment. And so that motivates me. I come away, then I listen to my own 5-minute video, and I feel good. So find the ways that work for you. You know, if you like on the sideline, you know, baking, whatever you like baking, then, you know, bake them and eat them, whatever they are, and know that makes you feel good. And so find the things, really search them. You know, I can't give you too many examples because they just, they must come from you. They must be your aha moment. Oh yes, you know, I used to love doing this, or I used to love crocheting, or I used to love, you know, polishing the furniture, or whatever it was. Okay. And then also attend a daily class of what appeals to you. Okay. You're welcome to come into my daily class. That's fine. But you know, you might want to do yoga, get set up. I've got all sorts of exercises, even sitting down yoga exercises I saw last night. Whatever it is, it might be you know, a class on your art, or something that you always wished you could do. I've always wished I could paint, and so I took some classes, and you know, I don't think I was born to paint, but I painted some pictures. My wife is my hero. She's my champion, and says my paintings are wonderful and great, and she puts them up around the house. So yeah, find the classes that are going to be good for you. Okay, but don't forget to every day just review your day, whether it was good or bad day, and then ask yourself why. Now, why was it a good day? And then immediately you'll know, why was it a bad day? Might be a little bit difficult, okay, but find out the why. Okay, so practical tips to boost your endeavors. Okay, the first one is cultivate a self-care routine that energizes and nourishes you. Okay, if you are a normal, natural human being, and you like to spoil yourself with certain cosmetics or makeup or whatever, you know, and you just enjoy it, that enjoyment is energizing. Okay, so you're finding things and doing things that you enjoy. This can be a passing moment. Okay, that energizes you, and if it's something like that you use on your body, it then hopefully will nourish you as well. So again, I'm saying what I said in the previous slide is create simple goals for growing your business your way, not anybody else's way, your way. You have created it. In a previous class, you looked at yourself, you looked at your strengths and your weaknesses and your likes and your dislikes, remember? And you did all that. And now earlier in this class, we spoke about, you know, setting broad goals. You can now create these simple goals as part of boosting your endeavors. Maybe you want to add another goal. Yeah, it's not something that, goals are not cast in concrete. Okay, they're there as a direction to move with your activities, your daily activities. Okay, you're not setting a goal to make money, or you're setting a goal to, you know, change the world. You'll change the world anyway, one person at a time. Okay, you will, with your purpose, because we as seniors now are changing the world without a doubt. Okay, and especially after this this 2021 stuff that we've been through and locked down into, we're moving out with new insights, new ideas. That's why you're part of this class, and that's why I'm giving the class. I want to put forward a whole new society, a whole new way of looking at our purpose and our idea. So coming back to the slide, find your doable action steps. Okay, you know, you don't want to create things that, you know, it's just not you, but somebody says you should do this. You say, I don't like it. No, these are doable steps, things that you know you can do. Okay, and jot them down as part of the whole practical boosting of your endeavors. Now, you're the type of person like myself, often is where you start something and you don't finish. Okay, you'll never see results if you're that. You've got to stick to simple things that you can stick to. Okay, and that's how I got myself out of that habit. Now, by midlife, I was always wandering off, even with businesses. I was, starting quite big businesses and getting them out, and then I would just go for the tangent. I got bored. There wasn't a big enough challenge. So I'd have to sell that and start again because I liked starting. And that was energizing, the starting, the new, the researching for me. Find what it is for you. Okay, find what it is for you. And then always look for somebody to support you. Okay. Somebody who's, your champion and who's there to champion your cause and to make you feel good, but also as a sounding board. That I have a person on the other side of Australia, in Brisbane, and we talk twice a day. We use each other as motivating and sounding boards and ideas, and together we talk about these classes. And he's not a get set up person. And, he gives me ideas and thoughts based on his background. And then we couple it with mine. So you need to find that sort of support. You need to find somebody that is prepared to spend the time. Probably your best friend might be a good person, or your spouse, okay, might be a good person. But you need support. You need to have regular support. Somebody you can phone up and say, I'm feeling, and you can use whatever lousy word you want to use, okay? And then they come back to you and they say why. They'll say why. The question is so powerful. Why? Okay. And then you let it go, and out it comes. So those are some tips. And most of the tips, besides the one I've said, are mine that I use particularly, come from people like you see on your screen now. Okay. Now, I've shown you just their pictures before, and I promised you that I'll tell you a little bit about their background. This Helen Winkle here, okay, she started, well, let me first tell you that she's 92 years old right now. In May 2021, she's 92 years old. I found her as what she calls a Southerner. I don't know what that means. In the Southerner Instagram icon, okay? It probably makes sense to you Americans, I guess. And she became an internet sensation, not overnight, okay? Before she found herself in that position, she was just leading a normal sort of life in Waco, Kentucky, okay? She had a little small holding, we would call them here. I don't know what you call them there. It's like a small farm. And she took care of her great grandkids, okay? And loved her gardening. She used to garden, keep her garden nice, and went to church every Sunday. Then one day, I remember this is we're talking about things happening. One day, her great granddaughter snapped a picture of her working in the garden, almost looking like she looks there now in that picture, with like a t-shirt on and shorts, and colored her hair like that. And that's who she was, okay? But her granddaughter snapped the picture, and she used to tie-dye her tops, okay? So anyway, the granddaughters went and posted that on Instagram, okay? And then Helen became very interested. What is this Instagram thing? And so they opened an account for her on Instagram, and she started off by saying, she is who she is. And she says, she used to post, I'm a bad bitch, always been a rebel. Okay, that was on Instagram. Okay, so she was just being herself, which I encourage you all the time, 100% of the time, when you're on social media and you're moving forward, is be yourself. Okay. She now has streamlined things because, as you can see now, she has more than 3 million followers. Okay. So now she's quite a long time ago, she changed her sort of thing to, she now calls herself Baddie Winkle. Okay. But from her first post, the posts just grew and grew. And she did them more frequently, all about this baddie person. Okay. People just loved it, absolutely loved it. You know, the whole makeup, the whole story, the whole image. And then she created a tagline, and we've spoken in previous classes about that. Okay. But hers was more tongue-in-cheek and just posting. Okay. And her tagline still is, and you can see it on your screen there. Okay. Stealing your man since 1928. And so she now has a whole beauty collection at Sephora and masses of followers. So she didn't start out with anything. She's now through the process, because she has so many followers, she is now an influencer. So yeah, of course, now companies are all around her, and she gets paid for just saying something good about that company's garments or whatever it is. But anybody with any product can say to her, chat to her and say, you know, I'm selling chocolate cookies, you know, can you mention them, and so on. And so you would pay her and let her taste your chocolate cookies, and then she would talk about them for maybe 5 or 6 lines in one of her blogs or posts, and the next day you would be out of cookies. Okay, you would be out of cookies. That's how powerful influencers are that have such big followings. So there's a whole strategy now. And if Laura was here, and I'm glad she's not for this case, she would say, just another advertising, just some other way of advertising. But it's a modern, it's a 2021 phenomena that people have so much power over their followers that they would do anything for their followers. Okay. And so I mean, obviously it's part of a historical thing where, you know, you had people lead themselves to commit mass suicide and so on with that following. They believed anything that person would say. But now on the social media side, it's a similar thing. Okay, these influencers are like that. So let's look at George. George, you may recognize him straight away, and I've mentioned it before. He's Sulu from Star Trek. That's now moved on away from Star Trek, and he has over 1 million followers on Star Trek. Sorry, no, Star Trek, on social media, and he's now a fully fledged social media influencer. And so people, he has his own particular what he likes. Okay, as Helen was really about way out fashion and different type of fashion, and attract a lot of people. George is about he has causes that he himself he likes. He has got certain causes, like he likes to promote these causes, which are usually minimal type causes, and so he writes about them, you know, like gay rights and Muslim registry and all sorts of things like that. He will, and he's got a big following, and so you could hire him. And again, but his background is, he was, I guess, you can say, famous from the Star Trek time. So he started differently. Whereas down the bottom here, Iris, who is now today 99 years old, okay, and she's still going strong, and she is a great influencer, and she's topped over 1 million followers as well, and she's showing no signs of stopping. Okay, she's a published author now, and has collaborated with Vogue and Christie's, as well as glassware company like Nude Glass and window covering businesses like Hunter Douglas. So, because she has got this following and because of what she focuses on, she attracts certain people and certain companies. And so then the money comes automatically. She started off, she talks about being with her grandmother. Her grandmother used to give her a packet of things as a child, to a lot of material in it, and she became obsessed with texture and color from a young age all the way through into adult age. And she says, looking back, those early days with her grandmother really, made a big difference. And so she is still obsessed with fashion and color, and she's had exhibitions at the Costume Institute in the Metropolitan Museum of Art. So that's her background. She's just been an absolutely ordinary person. She had her career, and then after retirement, she started now working on this type of fashion. Okay, that's very, very colorful. And if you Google her, you'll find all sorts of images, and maybe just Google images of her, and you'll find all sorts of very interesting, but you'll see what I mean by sort of outspoken and as far as color is concerned, and people love it. Now, between her and Helen Winkle, they're on two extremes, okay, but they have followers, and I always said that he talks very highly of her ex-husband, and when he died 5 years ago, at the age of 100, okay, his humor and generosity were legendary. He said, if it wasn't for him being her champion, and she, in tongue-in-cheek, she said, yeah, he used to glow in my light, but he enjoyed that. So, and she says, when I started out, I just, it wasn't for money or anything. I just wanted to talk about and show people and design and create these colorful, not the Helen Winky type stuff, but more sophisticated by far. Okay, and so she attracted a different lot of people. And she was the one who said very seriously, don't isolate yourself. If always find somebody, and I mentioned that is where I got that quote, which absolutely, you need that somebody. Okay. And she is one that says too, I started out, no thought of money, nothing to do with it. Now I don't know what to do with the money. Okay. And she does a lot of good things with it, but never start out because of the money. There are just some more pictures of the same people, okay, just in different outfits. And yeah, that sort of brings us to the end. And that first step, remember that very first step must be taken, and it must be preferably a small step, okay? And that's all you do. Then you celebrate it. And that comes from Iris. That's what she says. Take that small step. Okay. So any questions that anybody has, we can chat about them.
Thank you, Michael. It was a wonderful class.
Thank you, Lee.
I met a woman from Perth talking about animals.
Oh,
from Australia.
That's my wife. That's my wife.
She's very.
That's his wife.
Oh, yeah, she's very informative, really educational.
That was his wife.
Oh, that's very nice. Yeah. Nice.
Okay, well, go off to it now. I'm not sure what she's doing, but she's in class now.
Oh,
She's in class.
Wow,
What class is she
that's
in?
Animals again, or another class?
Isn't it birds?
Okay.
Birds? Oh yeah. How does she know so much about animals? Does she
She always loved animals. Always had animals as
You can keep in
pets.
touch with him. He looks like
If she comes to a new country like we have here now, she
what kind?
all the animals, and you know, and we go looking for them, and we attract them into our garden, as I said earlier. So yeah, she just loves the animals and pets, particularly house pets and dogs and cats and things like that.
What
Okay.
kind of animals?
Sorry,
Thank you. What kind of animals does she like?
go into her class and ask her.
It's what? All kinds of animals.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it'd be easier to list the ones she doesn't like.
What
Which one? I don't think she's afraid of snakes.
there's the name of a dog. It looks like a wolf, but it's like it's not a very friendly. It's a cute little thing, but it looks like a wolf or but it's not. It's not. It's like a wild. It's an animal. It's very dangerous. You know,
Yeah.
I went to a class yesterday. Oh, what
Okay.
do you call the animal that looks like a dog or something? But it looks like a wolf, but it's like it's very dangerous.
Okay, I'm not sure. You'd have to. I'm not the same involved in animals as she is. Okay, I've had my time historically with animals, and you know, I just have two French bulldogs now, and I inherited those. Okay.
Mike,
Common, yes.
do you meet every day at the same time?
Yeah, every day the same time, and so the fifth class is tomorrow, the same time. Then it's the same time next week as well, every day next week, and it looks like they are going to change the time the week after that, but it hasn't put up yet. So just be aware. You can just search for my name, and you'll see the classes coming up underneath that. Okay. If you get lost, and yeah, I've requested that they give me Instagram again so that I can start swinging it a little bit towards people here. But
every time I look at it, I get more confused. I just not registering.
yes, I know. That's why I want them to give me Instagram again. I used to, and I'm sure they will. I'm sure they'll give me Instagram again.
Tomorrow, I just decided tomorrow, I don't care what happens. I'm taking time to go on YouTube and watch every Instagram video that I can get my hands on.
Okay. If you like, I can put a link maybe in the notes that of the ones that I've looked at that I may recommend.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Then I won't have any excuse for not understanding it, right?
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. They're fine. Okay. Well, thanks very much for attending class. Unless you
Thank
have
you.
any questions.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
It's a-
Michael. Good night.
No,
Thank you,
it helped
Michael.
a lot.
Thank
Good
you,
morning.
Michael.